Hello, students. So we'll start with chapter 2, something called as compound interest without using formula. Okay, now what is this without using formula? What exactly is compound interest? Something like this way would be there in your mind. So students, by now we've learned something called as simple interest. And what exactly is simple interest? We will just, you know, like recently completed in standard 7th and 8th. Also in standard 8, you learned compound interest. I hope you have learned in standard 8 your compound interest. And in case if the chapter would have been like learned properly, I guess you would be knowing all this terminology, what is principal, what is rate, what is time, what is interest, what is amount. But still, we'll just take a recap. What is a principal? Principal is nothing but money borrowed or money lent out. So suppose some people they need to start with business or they need to buy some house or they need to buy some car. So they require money, isn't it? And in that case, they go to the bankers or they go to the money lenders and then they borrow that money. And that borrowed money is called as principal. Or else some people are having load of money and they don't need to utilize for themselves. So they lend their money to some needy people and then they charge some interest on that. Are you getting it? And okay, and then that money lent or money borrowed is been charged. It's charged by some rate of interest. Matlab, on rupees 100, you have to pay some extra money, say at the rate of like 8% or 10% or some 12%. Sometimes half yearly, sometimes some quarterly, sometimes monthly. There is something called as EMIs. All these things we will going to discuss little later in the chapter. So, what exactly is rate? I hope you understood. Now, then the next part is time, generally denoted with capital letter N or small letter N or capital letters T or small letter T. Now, what is this time? It is again decided in how much time period that money would be returned. Are you getting it? That money would going to come back to that lender or that bank. That is called as time period. Generally, it is decided as 12 months, 8 months, or 1 year, 3 years, something like that. Are you getting it? Or if you're taking a big loans like housing loan or something like that, it takes generally 15 years to 20 years also. So that is decided and it is prescribed nicely in the sum itself. So I hope you understood what is principal, what is rate, what is time. Now the next part is interest. What exactly is interest? Interest is nothing but the extra money what one can earn on the principal is called as interest. Say like suppose you borrowed rupees 10,000 from the bank. So obviously you're not going to return only 10,000 to the bank. Obviously they will going to charge you something 10,000 plus say 10% or 5% or something like some prescribed rate, and then that will go to pay some extra money on 10,000, maybe say 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees. That is called as interest. I hope you understood. And then there is a very standard formula to calculate the interest. We're going to see in the upcoming slides. So meanwhile, move ahead. What is amount? Amount is nothing but this principal plus interest. If you'll add together, you're going to get that amount. I hope these are like very basic terminology. Now, some people get confused with the word some money borrowed or interest amount to. So nothing to worry, guys. You have to read very carefully. Interest amount to matlab interest. Amount matlab like principal plus interest. So don't get confused with this word. Principal amount to matlab principal only. Are you getting it? Or principal uh, is also called as sum of money borrowed. So do not get confused with these kind of small words. Okay, be very clear with your fundamental and the concept. If money is been borrowed, or if the sum of money is been borrowed, or sum of money is lent, is definitely called as principal. I hope you understood this basic terminology of this question like this. Okay. Let's move ahead with the next slide. That is called a simple interest. Simple interest is like simple interest we've already seen in standard 6th and 7th, so I'll not waste too much time on that. Simple interest is principal into rate into time divided by 100. If you have to calculate principal, then you do simple interest into 100 upon RT. If you have to calculate rate, then you're going to do simple interest into 100 upon PT. If you have to calculate the time, then simple interest into 100 upon P into R. I hope these are pretty clear formulas derived from only one single formula. And then if we calculate the compound interest, then compound interest is directly calculated as final amount minus original principal. See in our previous example, say suppose someone has borrowed rupees 10,000 and then they return as 12,000. So final amount was 12,000 and original principal was 10,000. So compound interest will become 12,000 minus 10,000. That is 2,000. So that is called as compound interest. Now how to calculate the compound interest we're going to see in upcoming slides. We'll just see one small example by which you'll understand how to calculate the simple interest. Okay. Now this is like one small example, very basic example. You can just jot it down quickly in a book in case, or else you can just pay attention. Question number one. Say A gives rupees 100 to B. A gives rupees 100 to B at 10% rate of interest per annum with simple interest. Find the simple interest accrued in 3 years and amount. What do you mean by accrued? Formed or made up of. Find the simple interest accrued in 3 years and also to calculate the amount. So these are like the specific style of the questions. Find simple interest and the amount. Okay. So how to calculate the simple interest? Simple interest will be PRT upon 100. So principal is 100, time is 3, and rate is 10. So 100 into 10 into 3 divided by 100. If we cancel these, we're going to get simple interest as rupees 30. Now what will be the amount? Amount will be nothing but principal plus interest. Principal was 100, interest is 30. So 100 plus 30 rupees 130. Isn't it so simple? This type of various types of questions we've already done in standard 8. So there is no point wasting time over here on the simple interest slide. But why I took this simple interest question in this compound interest chapter? Because you must know this formula very well. Because whenever we're doing compound interest sum, that too without formula, then this simple interest formula plays vital role or very important role in this entire chapter. So that's the reason I just took one small example. I just explained what exactly simple interest. I exactly explain you what is the amount so that you can understand this chapter very well. Now, this slide is like very interesting and very important for your entire chapter. Okay, so we will see this slide for a little longer time. No need to hurry up writing everything. We will go slowly and gradually and understand each and every word of this slide. Okay, so let's write on this question number two. Question number two is okay. Now, some people are asking, sir, is there formula? Then why to use this without formula? Okay, I'll explain that bit. See, guys, understand there are certain questions of the compound interest chapter which can be easily solved by using formula, but there are typical types of questions you cannot use, formula out there. So they need to be solved without formula only or by simple interest method. Now, what exactly is compound interest would be going in your mind? Hold on for another 5 to 10 minutes, and your question will be, uh, uh, you know, get spark in your brain. I don't want to give the answer, but it should get struck in your brain, guys. Okay, one more very interesting thing is that there is one mathematician. He said, "I seriously don't know what are the 8 or 7 wonders of the world." He's saying, I'm not saying. Of course, I'm also like saying yes to that. But what is the mathematician is saying? Like, I seriously don't know what are the 7 wonders of the world, but I know the eighth one. And the eighth wonder of the world is this compound interest chapter. Are you getting it? So it is that beautiful compound interest, and it is really really nice. So you should understand all these concepts because henceforth you're going to start earning money, and then whenever you'll earn money, please invest your money with compound interest. You'll understand shortly, and then towards the end of this chapter or while summarizing this chapter, I'll teach you why this compound interest is called as eighth wonder. Okay. Okay, let's move ahead. Question number two. Let A gives rupees 100 to B at 10% rate of interest per annum, compounded annually. This word is very important. Compounded annually. Find the compound interest accrued in 3 years and the amount. Now, what is the basic difference in the previous slide question? It was with simple interest, and this is with compound interest annually. Are you getting it? So that is one small word changes and the entire scenario changes. So let's see how. Okay, so what would you calculate? Would you calculate the compound interest? We also have to calculate the amount. So let's write it down. What is the given data? Principal is 100, rate is 10% per annum, number of years is 3 years, and we're going to calculate CI for 3 years. Look at this. What would you calculate? Compound interest accrued in 3 years, and also would you calculate amount in 3 years. Now understand, students. Suppose if I want to calculate the compound interest and we do not have to use the formula, then what is to be done? So we will start something called as first year, second year, and third year. Now see what exactly happens during first year. So interest will become PRT upon 100, or some people can say PRN. N for T is 1 is century, time period. So 100 into 10 into, look at this, time period is 1, isn't it? 100 into 10 into 1 becomes 1000 divided by 100, which will become rupees 10. So interest become 10 rupees. Stop writing. Pay attention on the screen very carefully. Don't do anything. Just listen very carefully what I'm trying to explain to you. So interest become rupees 10. When interest is 10 rupees, that interest will add with principal and then that becomes amount. Amount is equal to principal plus interest. 100 plus 10 will become 110 rupees. Now the interesting part started. Okay, now the amount what have become over here at the end of the first year becomes the principal for the next consecutive year. For the second year period, principal will going to be 110 rupees. Rate will be 10, number of year will be again. See, this is second year, not 2 years. This is second year. So for second year, time period is again considered as one whole year. So interest will become PNR upon 100. So 110 into 100 into 1 upon 100. इसको cancel करते हैं तो मिल जाएगा 11 rupees. Oh, now what is interesting thing is happening? The interest for the first year was rupees 10 and the interest for the second year is rupees 11. Now how that magic has happened? No. It is not magic, guys, because our principle has changed. The interest has changed. Are you getting it? And that's the beauty of the compound interest. It started increasing right from the second year, isn't it? Okay, now here is the basic difference comes between the compound interest and the simple interest. So, simple interest, every year clear the interest would have been rupees 10 and rupees 10 and rupees 10. Whereas in compound interest, the previous year's amount becomes the next year's principal, and due to that, the interest changes. And again, the amount remains same. Okay, it is amount. There is MBC. Amount for the second year. Look at this. Amount for the second year. Amount for the second year is what? Principal plus interest. So principal was 110, interest was 11. So 110 plus 11 will become 121. I hope you are understanding, isn't it? Now this amount, now listen very carefully. This amount at the end of the second year becomes the principal for the third year. So the principal for the third year is rupees 121. Now, due to change in principal, again there will be a change in the interest, and again there will be a change in the amount. Now look at this. Principal become 121, the rate becomes 10%, number of year is again. Since it is third full year, we take n is 1 year, isn't it? Not 3 years. Please note that it's not 2 years over here, or it's not 3 years over here. It is one year, because we are calculating specific 1 year transaction. So interest become principal into number of years into rate upon 100. So 121 into 10 into 1 upon 100. So that two zeros get cancelled, and then we shift one dot. So it will become 12.10. Okay, now some people write 12.1, which is so called right, but in your syllabus or in maths exam, if you write 12.1, they will remove your 1 mark. So money should be always in two decimal places. You'll have to remember that. So for third year, interest become 12.10. And now the amount for the third year, it is amount for the third year. So amount for the third year will become principal plus interest. What is principal? 121. What is interest? 12.1. And 121 plus 12.1, if you add it, it becomes 133.10. So this is the interest for the third year. This is the interest for the third year, and this is the amount at the end of the 3 years. So, what is our basic question? Basic questions were CI for 3 years. So, how to calculate CI for 3 years? There are two methods. One is you can final amount minus original principal. So, final amount is 133.10 minus 100. 133.10 minus 100, you're going to get 33.10. That is CI for 3 years. There is one another alternative method to calculate CI for the 3 years. And what is that? So CI1 plus CI2 plus CI3. So 10 plus 11 plus 12.10. If you add 10 plus 11 plus 12.10, you're going to get that 33.10. That's it. The two ways to calculate CI for 3 years. I hope you understood till here perfectly. And now then the next part, what is the amount for 3 years? What is the amount for the 3 years? Is 133.10. Make sure that money is always written in two decimal place. Now there are many questions can be asked and many cases can occur. There can be different rates for the respective year. सो यहाँ पर 10% हो सकता है फर्स्ट ईयर के लिए, सेकेंड ईयर के लिए 8% हो सकता है या 12% हो सकता है, थर्ड ईयर के लिए 15% हो सकता है या फिर 6% हो सकता है. सो अकॉर्डिंगली दैट यू कैन चेंज योर रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट. आई होप यू अंडरस्टूड. Right? You understood? That's nice. Sometimes they can give you like 1 year and 6 months. Sometimes they can give you like 2 years and 4 months. So first year, second year and 4 month के लिए हम लोग क्या करेंगे यहाँ पर 4 months ले लेंगे and 4/12 करेंगे. You understood? 4/12 करते हैं तो number of years will going to get converted into 4/12. I hope you understood how to deal with the various rates and various time period also these type of questions. Okay, now very interesting part of this topic. What is a very interesting part of this topic? I hope you understood to here perfectly. I'll just give you a glance of this question. Otherwise, what we'll do, we can stop the recording over here. We can stop recording over here. And better you copy down first of all this much portion. From here to here you copy down and then further part we'll go to take it after that pause. Okay? So take a pause quickly. Hopefully you finished writing till here, students. Now it's time to move ahead. So there are various kind of questions they can ask. As I said to you, they can give or they can change the rate of interest for, for the respective year. They may give you the half or incomplete years. They may give you a half yearly. So half yearly होता है तो क्या करेंगे? First half year, second half year, third half year, something like that way you'll have to keep going ahead. Okay. In that case, generally they give you 18 months. So first 6 months, then next 6 months, and then the third period of the 6 months. In that case, हम लोग क्या करेंगे? Time will going to take 1/2. Time will going to take 1/2 years. Don't worry, we're going to see many questions based on that. So hopefully with the first one sample question, I have completely explained the questions or the entire chapter I tried explaining to you all. Okay. Now we will see what kind of questions they can ask you. So what kind of questions you can see over here in this particular chapter? So first question they can ask you, like calculate CI for the first year. So what will be the CI for the first year, students? Okay, look at this. So what is the CI for the first year is rupees 10. We'll move ahead with this questionnaires. So what are the various type of questions they can ask you in the examiners are these one. So students will have to keep writing along with you. Okay. So what is this? Okay, first two questions we have already solved. Now what is the third question they can ask you? What is the CI for the first year? So listen very carefully. CI for the first year is this. That is rupees 10. I hope you understood. Okay, what is the fourth question? Amount for the first year or amount at the end of the first year. So that is rupees 110. Rupees होना जरूरी है. Fifth question. CI for second year. Please listen very carefully. CI for second year. It will turn out as rupees 11. Isn't it? Okay, let's write the next question. Question number 6. CI for first 2 years. Okay, what is CI for the first 2 years? So 10 plus 11, that will become 10 plus 11, that will become 21 rupees. Or else you can do amount for the 2 years minus principal, that is 121 minus 100. Again, that comes out rupees 21. I hope you understood this sixth question also. Isn't it very simple? ये बहुत simple चीज़ है guys. सिर्फ आप you must understand what question that examiner is pinpointing to you. Let's move question number 7. I hope you are writing. If you think I'm going a little faster, you can pause the video and can complete the question till here and then you can play ahead. Let's move ahead. Amount for 2 years or amount at the end of the second year. So amount at the end of the second year is 121. So if this is the amount at the end of the second year, it is also called as principal at the beginning of the third year. Okay, we'll go a little later to that. Okay, I hope you finished writing till seventh question. Okay, what is eighth question? CI for third year. CI for third year would become, obviously it is same as over here, 33.10. CI for third year. Oh yeah, this is like, I guess, a wrong answer which I have written. CI for third year should be 12.10. So this was an error. So it is 12.10, not 33.10. I hope you understood till here. Okay, let's move ahead. Principal for the second year. I hope you have changed over here 12.10, not 33.10. The slide has some error. Okay, let's move ahead with the ninth question. Ninth question is principal for the second year. What will be the principal for the second year? Principal for the second year is 110 rupees. What will be principal for the third year? Principal for the third year is 121 rupees. What will be principal for the fourth year? Without doing, okay, we know that amount at the end of the third year becomes principal for the fourth year. So principal for the fourth year is 133.10. I hope you finish writing till all this 11th question. I know there is ninth skipped over here. So there are 11 questions. So these are various type of questions they can ask you. They can also ask you one or two questions more. Recently, I have seen in some papers, school papers, what is the difference between the second year and the first year component interest? So the difference between the second year and the first year component interest will be 11 minus 10. That is 1 rupee. You can add that question number 12. What is the difference between the third year component interest and the second year component interest? So that will be 1.10 rupees. Then they can ask you another question. What is the difference between the third year and the first year component interest? So 12.10 minus 10, that will be 2.10 rupees. So they can ask you any random questions which are based on this table. Okay. I hope you understood till here perfectly everything. Let's move ahead and to see this one magical table over here. What is this magical table? Why I call this magical table? You'll understand once we'll be doing exercise 2C. Okay, let me just teach you why it is called as magical. One second, hold on. One second, I'm just choosing a pen so that I can show you. Okay, look at this. This is the principal and this is the amount, isn't it? So even over here you can see the relation. If principal is 100, the amount is 110. When principal was 100, amount was 110, isn't it? So the same thing, when principal is 100, the amount is 110. Same goes like over here, when principal is 110, the amount is 121. And same things happen over here also. When the principal is 100, amount is 121. So why I'm showing this? So amount for the next year becomes principal for the previous years. Amount for the next year becomes, okay, if this is the amount, then the previous year's amount is called as principal. You understood? Same goes over here also. Say, suppose 10 rupees is the principal, then the amount will become 11. Okay, I hope you are getting me what I'm trying to explain to you. Same goes over here also. If this is the principal, this is the amount, isn't it? When the principal is 110, amount is 121. So, previous year's amount becomes principal and succeeding year's amount becomes principal. Previous year's interest become principal and the succeeding year's interest becomes amount. Okay. It's only one term and condition. They should be succeeding, matlab, one after other, first and second. It cannot be 1 and 3 years, or it cannot be second and fourth year. So the relation exists when it is consecutive years, like first and second. So this is principal, then that is second year's interest will be considered as amount. If second year's compound interest is considered as principal, then this will become amount. I hope you all are understanding what I'm trying to explain to you. Okay, if not, no worries, guys. Once that exercise, once it will come, I'll explain to you all everything. Okay, I guess you understood this questionnaires as well as this magic table. In case if you have doubts or difficulties, surely I'll take you soon. Okay, one second. Okay, guys. So here we ends with our video one on compound interest without formula. So watch my next video for more detailing and more questions like of exercise 2A. So watch my video 2 for exercise today. There are various important questions which I'm going to cover, like the question number 9, question number 7, question number 4, and question number 2. So don't forget to watch my video number 2. So till then, bye bye.